As I reflect back on life, most recently I feel like God has been teaching me two lessons. One, that we have our limits, but God is limitless. And number two, being that God is a very, very generous God. And as some of you might know, Derek was hospitalized, and I wanted to thank you for your prayers for that. But that was a very rough thing that we had to go through. And then a few weeks later, my sister had to be hospitalized due to a concussion through basketball. And then a few days later, my grandma had to go to the hospital. And then after that, my grandpa had to go to the hospital. And a few weeks later after that, my other grandma had to go to the hospital. And most recently, my Uncle John had a heart attack and had to go to the hospital. So needless to say, it's been a rough season, but God has been a generous God through it all. And through the midst of school and work and everything in between, I felt like the Lord was telling me to cut back. And so as I was scaling back, I felt called to really just focus on my health and to focus on being near to family, close to family, and to focus on ministry here at Anaheim. And through that, I felt Him calling me to drop my classes. And so at first I just dropped one class at Fuller Theological Seminary, and then I felt called to drop another class. And even though this didn't make sense at the time, I was really feeling like God was just saying, less of you and more of me. And in that place, it didn't make sense because I was at a loss of $2,000 because each week that you wait to drop a class, they don't refund a portion of it. And so I was going into this quarter like very stressed, just with everything that was going on. But God was just reminding me of His goodness. And a few weekends ago, I was able to go to a Westlight Women's Retreat, and I was able to be on the prayer team. And through the prayer team, we were able to witness a lot of healings, and it was just a really wonderful time. But going into the women's retreat, I had this intense pain in my neck and my shoulder and my back, to the point where when I was driving, I couldn't even look like this, and I had to completely turn my body. And so I couldn't even put my chin to my neck, and I couldn't even put my ear to my shoulder. But as I went into the women's retreat with a heating pack and an ice pack and meds, I was able to be in this place of just sitting in worship one day, and I felt like the Lord had healed me. And it really surprised me because I didn't ask for the healing, but God just did it, and He just met me exactly where I was at. And so that was the first miracle that I witnessed, Him just healing my neck completely. And it really shocked and surprised me, but it was so generous of Him through my limits that I had. And then as I came home from the Westlight Women's Retreat, I actually was just on my phone, and I got an email from Fuller Seminary, and the administration got wind of what was going on and with my situation, and they actually granted the whole $2,000 back to my bank account. And so that was the second miracle that I experienced. And so through all this, it was just God's goodness and God's grace. And through that, I really realized that it's by grace and His generosity that we have been saved. And it's through His grace and His generosity that we experience God's miracles. And so I just wanted to end on this verse, and it's from 2 Corinthians 8:9. You know the generous grace of our Lord Jesus Christ. Though He was rich, for your sake He became poor, so that by His poverty He could make you rich. And with that verse, I just wanted to end on that and ask you guys as a congregation, where are those miracles coming from, and how is God working miracles in your life? Thank you.